So let's get straight into it. Who do I think is going to finish bottom of the pile, absolutely rock bottom, relegated back down to the Championship? Bournemouth. Now, I have memories of Bournemouth from Eddie Howe's time of being a good attacking side, somebody who I loved Liverpool to play because I felt they played into our hands, but ultimately they were a bit soft in defence. I know that they've added some new players, and I know Dominic Solanke from an attacking perspective has started to bang in goals into Vitality, but I do think they are probably great candidates to finish bottom and go back down. So no disrespect meant to Bournemouth, but I do think they're going to finish bottom of the pile. Second from bottom, 19th place in the Premier League. You probably won't be surprised to learn it's another perennial yo-yo club, probably up there with Norwich as the perennial yo-yo clubs. Fulham. Alexander Mitrovic did great stuff last season. Broke the Championship goal scoring record that was set by Ivan Toney the season before, and I think that's probably his level. Now, I have a lot of time for Fulham. I do like Fulham as a football club, and me predicting them to go back down kind of gives me a bit of a heavy heart, but I do feel that they will probably finish in the relegation places. So for me, 19th place, it's going to be Fulham. Now, 18th place might land me in a little bit of trouble. It's one of my ballsier predictions from the predictions I'm going to make. And I don't say this because I'm a Liverpool fan. You can probably get where I'm going with this already. I say this because the club is in a bit of a mess. They have lost some players and their signings haven't really bowled me away. I am, of course, speaking about Frank Lampard's Everton. I think they're going to be relegated this year. I think they did well to avoid it last year. But look, they've lost Richarlison. They've brought in Dwight McNeil. Dwight McNeil could be a good signing, but he's not going to be as helpful to them as Richarlison was, when he wasn't getting sent off, of course, and was on the pitch. Add to that the pressure that they just have around the club financially, and the business that they've done in this window hasn't been overly impressive. Now, they have managed to keep that good young talented winger Gordon of theirs who Spurs were looking to sign, but even allowing for that, allowing for the Goodison crowd getting behind the team and stuff, I still think they're going to be there or thereabouts. So it is a bit ballsy, it is a bit bold, but I'm going to go for Everton in 18th place and to be relegated down to the Championship. This video is being sponsored by our friends at Spitch, the best fantasy football manager game on the App Store, bar none. Why is it the best? You don't have to commit to an entire season. You can play individual game weeks if you want, choosing a brand new team every single weekend. Right now, there's a new season mode where you can win up to £50,000, and there's even a free season mode with prizes of up to £2,500. Seasons mode is based on 34 game weeks, and only your best 5 are counted at the end of the season. There's tons of stats and analytics available inside the app to help you choose your team and give you the best chance of winning. If the money and the gameplay wasn't enough to tempt you, how about Jurgen Klopp being an ambassador for Spitch this season? If it's good enough for Mr. Klopp, it's good enough for me. You must be 18 years or over to play. Use our link in the description below to download Spitch and win money with your football knowledge. Right, my friends, I'm going to move towards the top half of the table now, and I'm going to start off with my 8th place team. That is going to be West Ham for me. Very difficult to gauge West Ham and how they're going to get on this year. Themselves and Leicester are probably the two teams that I found it hardest to really think about where they may end up. West Ham have been brilliant under David Moyes and have deserved the European place that they've gotten in the past 2 seasons. I know this year they're only going to be in the Europa Conference League, but I don't know if that'll be too much of a distraction or not. Their signings have been okay. They probably will want to get a little bit more business done before the window closes on September the 2nd. But for me, West Ham, I'm going to put them in 8th place. Could finish a little bit higher. I do rate West Ham, as I said, but I think it's going to be a really competitive season. Just a little bit ahead of them, another one that's potentially a bit of a wild card. 7th place for me, I'm going to put in Newcastle United. I was really impressed with the job Eddie Howe did there last season. I had my doubts when he was appointed Newcastle manager, and I still have my doubts about his long-term role there at the club, but he galvanised them last year and they comfortably avoided relegation. They were nowhere near it in the end, to be honest, but they brought in some good players. Guimaraes, talent, no doubt about it. He'll do bits this season. They've gone and brought in Sven Botman, of course, centre back as well, and a few other decent signings that I think will give them the stability that they need. Now, will that push them really into the top 6? No, not for me, which is why I have them in 7th place. So for me, 7th place, Newcastle United. Could be higher, could be lower. Really difficult one to gauge. Now we move into, I suppose, the real European places, because usually 6th up starts to get those places. Occasionally, depending on the cup competitions, you may get one a little bit lower. In 6th place, again, not really any hate meant here, but it's my genuine feeling. Manchester United. I'm going to put them in 6th place. Look, they've done some business that is kind of meh, to be honest with you. The left back that they've brought in, 13 million quid, could be a good signing. Lisandro Martinez, who they've brought in to play either at centre back or in defensive midfield, I think will be a very, very good signing. Add to that the whole Ronaldo scenario, or the ELR scenario, as I like to call it. And I was happy to see at least Ten Hag was saying that it's unacceptable for players that left at half time, because they are in a mess right now, Manchester United. The club is in a mess from top to bottom. They've tried to bring in stability with bringing in Erik Ten Hag. Look, I'm sure he'll do a better job than the previous managers, but ultimately for me, I think 6th, maybe 5th, but I'm going to put them in 6th and a Europa League place for them for next season. That's what I'm going to go with. Manchester United in 6th place. Again, this is my genuine feeling. It's not just me trying to have a cheap dig at Manchester United, as much as I do enjoy cheap digs at Manchester United. Right, moving into 5th place now, a team who have done very good business. The signing of Alexander Zinchenko, for me, I feel is one of the best pieces of business over the summer. I really rate him as a footballer. I think Arsenal have done incredibly well to bring him in. By the way, it is going to be Arsenal. You probably gathered that at this point. They should be in the Champions League this year, but somehow, even though Mikel Arteta did a good job last year, they managed to just throw it away at the end of the season and allow the North London rivals to come in and steal that Champions League money from them. So Arsenal, they'll be right on the edge for me this season. They'll be there or thereabouts for a Champions League spot, which is why I'm putting them in 5th place, because I still think, I just have this muscle memory of Arsenal just being soft when it comes to the fight, when it comes to the real crunch time of the season. Now maybe the signings that they've made will help them with that, and certainly I like the fact that Mikel Arteta has looked to youth to build for the future. So 5th place for me, Arsenal. Now we move into the really exciting places, the top 4. What order is it going to be? You probably have a fair idea who the clubs are going to be at this point. Let's start off with 4th place and that final guaranteed Champions League spot. I'm going to go for Chelsea at this moment in time. They've had a bit of a strange window. Obviously, they've sent Romelu Lukaku on loan back over to Italy. They've brought in some players, and just as I'm recording this, by the way, it's been announced that that deal has been all agreed for Cucurella to join Chelsea. So great piece of business, in my opinion. I really do rate him as a left back. But they also have Ben Chilwell, so add to that the fact that they've brought in Koulibaly, who's a very good signing. Werner, we don't know what's going to happen there. There's lots of talk he could end up back in Leipzig. So they still have some work to do. They've got a new ownership group in as well. So there's a lot of uncertainty around Chelsea. We do know Thomas Tuchel's a very good coach. He's won the European Cup with Chelsea. So 4th place to me feels like a fair assessment of where I think Chelsea are right now. 3rd place, I'm going to go for Spurs. Antonio Conte has, I've always rated Conte as a coach, but the job he's doing at Spurs really has impressed me, especially with the collection of players that he's building there. I think their transfer business has been probably the best of the summer to me. Genuinely, I've been really impressed with the players that they've brought in. Signing Perisic on a free transfer will give them a lot of added steel and quality going forward in that left wing back position, which by the way is an FPL must if you haven't got him. Add to that, of course, Kulusevski in there. They brought in Richarlison, which I don't know how that'll work out. There's a footballer in Richarlison. He's a horrible git, but there's a footballer in there, no doubt. And if Antonio Conte can get the best out of him, add to that the quality of Son, Harry Kane, Kulusevski, Bentancur, they've brought in Jed Spence as well, so they really are building there at Spurs, and I feel like they want to push themselves right into a guaranteed Champions League position every season, kind of the vibe that Manchester City and Liverpool have right now. So for me, I think it's very fair. I'm going to go with Spurs to finish in 3rd place. Now we come to the top 2. What order am I going to put them in? Well, you won't be surprised that I am going to go fully biased here because I'm a Liverpool fan. So I am going to go with Manchester City to finish 2nd in the Premier League. And is there much reasoning behind this other than I'm a Liverpool fan? Well, look, I do think the two teams are extremely close. Manchester City have gotten the edge on us in a few title races by just 1 point. Obviously, we lost in the Champions League final last year. Pep Guardiola's quest to lift the Champions League with Manchester City is still ongoing, and I hope it never happens. But They have lost Zinchenko, and as of yet, they haven't replaced a left back. They have obviously looked to bring Marc Cucurella in. Looks like he's on to Chelsea, as I discussed earlier on. So they do still have some issues. They've brought in Haaland. Look, no doubts about the man's quality. He's going to score a lot of goals, but he does have spells of injury, and it is a new league, and he does have to adapt to a new way defences play and how physical the league is, and it will be a step up from Germany. That being said, he's an incredible footballer. I've no doubts about his quality. They also may lose Bernardo Silva, who, again, not as big a fan as a person, but as a footballer, an incredibly talented man. So if they lose him, I'm starting to think then, like Riyad Mahrez, I think he's an undervalued player. I really rate him. Grealish was he stunk up the place last season, in my opinion, as £100 million transfer. Phil Foden, who looks like he's about to sign a new deal at Manchester City, I rate him as well. He's a very good player. And look, their midfield, having Kevin De Bruyne in there, Rodri, who has been quite simply top notch. I mean, one of the best players of last season for me. I thought he was incredible. So look, it's easy for anyone to say Manchester City to win it, and I couldn't really put up much of an argument against that. But I do think the teams are really close. And as a Liverpool fan, I feel like missing out last season will spur us on. So yeah, Manchester City to finish in second place for me. And to win the league, of course, I'm going to go for Jurgen's Reds. I've been really impressed with our business as well. Look, it may not make the headlines with some of the signings we've made. Fabio Carvalho is going to be an excellent player. Obviously, we brought Darwin in as well, and he'll have to ease his way in. And I'm not expecting him to bag 25-30 goals in a season. I'm somebody that doesn't care how the goals are spread about. As long as Liverpool keep picking up the 3 points, that'll be good enough for me. We of course have Diogo Jota coming back from injury as well. He'll probably be a little bit fresher after the World Cup compared to some other players who may have played a lot of football by that point. And I just feel like the stop-start nature of the season may play into our hands. I think our squad depth is comparable to Manchester City's. I think Jurgen Klopp is a better coach than Pep Guardiola, if I'm being really honest. And I think Pep Linders is an incredible number 2. Add to that the sense of camaraderie that we have in the group, and I'm predicting Liverpool to win the Premier League this year. I do think it'll be a bit of a lower points tally. I think maybe 93 points might win the Premier League this year. So that's my predictions. That's how I feel. You let me know how deluded you think I am in the comment section, and as always, do hit that subscribe button as well. I look forward to you guys bringing this back up at the end of the season and showing me how wrong I was, but that's part of the fun, isn't it? Talk to you same time, same place. Thank you for your time. Bye bye.